Okay, we are live on Facebook and live on Instagram. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today. And today I'm talking to you all about blogging and how blogging can help your yoga business. Okay, so maybe you already have a blog and you'd like to learn a little bit more about how you can maximize the opportunities of your blog, or perhaps it's something that you've been thinking about. But first of all, I just wanted to kind of talk about the space. Okay, so the space that we are living in today. So, and by that I mean the yoga teacher space. And if you have joined me on any of my previous trainings or any of these live chats, you'll have heard me talk about this. You'd heard me say that obviously there's lots more yoga teachers out there, and this is a good thing because there's more people to share the message of yoga, so that's always a good thing. But what it does mean is that it's becoming harder to stand out. Okay, just joining me, I'm talking about blogging today and how you can use that in your yoga business. So do say hello if you're checking in. And these days, there are so many experienced yoga teachers that standing out is becoming more of a challenge. And the truth is, if you're not open to trying new tactics to share your message, it is going to become even more difficult to thrive as a yoga teacher and to make a living from teaching yoga. Okay, there was a time when yoga teachers could just teach and make a good living, but as more teachers go through their training, it is becoming harder, and it's becoming more important to be visible online. And marketing and ways of promoting yourself, it really is a new skill to add to your yoga teaching resume or your CV. And I'm sure that when you went through your yoga teacher training, you didn't think that you would have to become a marketer, but actually it's critical and it's crucial now to have some marketing and business skills to help you to be more visible. And one of the ways to be truly visible online is through a blog on your website. And it's actually super easy, as all you're doing is you're sharing your thoughts on the thing that you love and know the most, yoga. Okay, that's all you're doing. You're just sharing your thoughts in a written format. Okay, so if you're asking yourself, if you really need to be spending time researching topics and writing for your blog, in my opinion, the answer is yes. Okay, because blogging, it really is such an important or critical piece, really, because it's a critical piece for building an online presence and also for community. But not only that, but for adding value to your community and positioning yourself as an expert in your community. So your blog can do all of those magical things. Okay, so I know that you might be thinking, well, I'm teaching yoga and I'm running around town, I've got so many other things. How on earth could I fit in time to start blogging? And maybe it feels a little bit overwhelming to even start considering that. And most people, when they do start a blog, they will write maybe 2 or 3 articles and then they'll quit. And that is quite often because the process can become so overwhelming. And when overwhelm kicks in, it's easy just to fall off the bandwagon because you are teaching and you're doing everything else, and blogging just becomes, a lesser priority, I guess. So I know from experience that situation. And I guess really I'd say to you is that in that case, in every case when it comes to blogging, if you want to make it part of your week, it's really important to have a plan, okay? Because when you've got a plan and you spend a little bit of time putting a plan down and writing on pen and paper, on your laptop, on a spreadsheet, whatever works best for you, when you spend that little bit of time, it really starts to just pay off, okay? Because it's much easier than sitting at your laptop and thinking, okay, what am I going to write about today? Yeah. So I really encourage you to, think of blogging as an extension of your yoga teachings. Yeah. So, perhaps you're sharing something on your blog that you just didn't have time to share with your students in your class. And when you start to think of it like that, your blog, is an outlet that allows you to expand on your teachings and to share new information that you've learned as well, okay? So if you've been to some new workshops and you've learned something as a teacher, you can share those things with your students and with your community through your blog, okay? So as well as the things that you teach, in your class, through the words and the things that you say, you can also help your students and support their practice through your written words as well, okay? So you just think about, what message of yoga do I want to share with them, but just in a different way and outside of the studio, okay? So I also say that, before you kind of dive into writing your first blog post, you should really start to, or spend a little time just understanding your why, okay? Because this will really help you to stay committed, and having that really good understanding, being clear and having a connection to your why and why you're blogging will help you to continue to feel inspired and motivated to work on your blog each week, okay? So there are many reasons why you should start a blog, from extending your reach around the world to networking and getting collaborations off the ground, but also building your community and just sharing more of you, okay? Because your blog is a really nice way to share the behind the scenes things that happen in your life and any trainings that you've been on, and just to share more of your personality as well, okay? But today I want to focus on one of the key reasons why blogging is so important, and that's to boost traffic to your website, okay? So that's what we're going to focus on today in today's live training. So for those of you that are watching me, do let me know if you've already got a website and if you've already got a blog. So give me a thumbs up if you have a website and if you have a blog. Yeah, is it coming through? I'm going to give you a little bit of marketing speak now. So just kind of bear with me with this. Stick with me. Yes, we've got it. Hello. Hey, how are you? Good thumbs up there. So I want you to start to think of blogging as the start of a marketing funnel, okay? So we're going to visualize a funnel, okay? And you should start to think of it as a route into you and your yoga business and what you have to offer, okay? So your blog, it serves as a way for you to create awareness of you, okay? So you write about things that you're passionate about and that you care about, and you share those things, and hopefully you're sharing them in the places that ideal students are hanging out. And the ideal scenario is we want those people to land onto your website to read your blog, okay? So if you visualize that as the top of the funnel, okay, so the top of the marketing funnel, so they come onto the website, and we want them to work their way down the funnel, okay? So as you and other people share your blog posts in new places, new people are going to learn about you, okay? So it's really good for awareness. And the challenge that you have is to create really engaging content for your blog, okay? And this engaging content, you want it to create desire with the people that are reading it. And this desire what we want from this desire is we want people to feel a connection to you so that they want to work with you, okay? So that they want you to be their yoga teacher. That's what we're aiming for. And if you're doing email marketing, then those people can then end up on your email list, okay? So if you joined me last week, and I was talking about how to create an opt-in freebie on your website, and those opt-in freebies you promote on your blog pages, on your blog articles. So as people come into the top of the marketing funnel, they read your blog, and then they see your opt-in freebie, which hopefully will be relevant to the blog post that they've just read. And, you know, if they like the look of that and they're your ideal student, they're going to fill in their email address, and they're going to end up on your email list, okay? At that point, you can start to create a relationship with them and move them down the funnel. Okay, so the more you blog, I hope that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. So the more that you blog, okay, the better your website's SEO will become. And the more people will find your website, they'll contact you, sign up to your email list, and hopefully go on to book your yoga classes. And that's the goal, right? So, you know, as a yoga teacher, one of your primary goals is probably to attract more students to your classes, okay? So you should see the start of your blog, or you should see your blog as the start of that process, yeah? As the start of the marketing funnel to grow your yoga business by attracting new students. So the other thing that's really important what I want to talk about next is Google, okay? And how you can use your blog to make Google happy, okay? So getting traffic to your website is hugely important, as I said, to get people onto your email address, onto your email list. But you might be thinking, well, how do I make that happen? Okay, so blogging, it helps to create more crawlable pages. Okay, so basically what happens is Google and other search engine websites like Yahoo, although who uses Yahoo these days? It's all about Google. So Google will send these little spiders onto your website, and these spiders will crawl around and they will check out all of the pages on your website. And what they'll do is they'll kind of they take a snapshot of what they find on the pages on your website. So they take a snapshot, and then they come back into Google, and what they'll do is they'll use that information to rank your pages in the search results, okay? So when somebody types something into Google, if you're doing all of this well and you're using the right keywords and you've got lots of blog posts that Google's been able to crawl and show up in the results, index into the results, then your pages will come up in those search results. I hope that makes sense for you. But, you know, the more pages that you have, then the more pages Google has to rank in the search results. So that's why it's really important, because, you know, Google's also, well, if you only have a website that's, you know, just got a few pages, like an about page or, you know, your class schedule or a contact page, then there's really not a lot of information for these search engines like Google to crawl and then rank and display the results in the search results. So, you know, Google's also looking for regularly changing content on your website, and they will actually penalize you with a lower ranking if your website stays static, if it just stays the same, okay? So the more you can add to your blog and create new high quality content, the higher your website is going to rank in those relevant searches, okay? So if you've got any questions on that, then do add them into the chat. But I hope that gives you a little bit of a kind of a better understanding, I guess, as to how, you know, Google is actually working with your site and you know, taking the information from your site and showing it up in the search results. Okay, so next up, let me just grab some water. So next up, I want to talk about keywords, and I mentioned it briefly, but you know, you can't just write you can't write just any blog post and, you know, expect people to come flocking to your website to read it, okay? It doesn't work like that. You actually have to be more strategic and ensure that what you're writing, or ensure that the content that you're writing, that people are actually searching for that content online, okay? So that they find that blog post and end up browsing the other things that are on your website. So one of the ways to be more strategic around what you're writing about is to understand how keywords work. Okay, so when you start to fully understand how keywords can help you and how to blog with search engines in mind, it actually makes blogging easier because it's not random. There's actually some thought and logic that's gone behind it. So that's where your planning, that planning element is really key to this, okay? So the best way to kind of go about this is really just to ask yourself this simple question. So write it down if you've got a pen and paper, but the question is this: how can your blog post help your ideal students with their yoga journey and questions that they're asking online? Okay, so how can your blog post help your ideal students with their yoga journey and the questions they're asking online? And the problem they are having becomes the keyword search terms, okay? So the problem that they're having becomes the keywords that you use, okay? And the opportunity for you is showing up in the search results with a blog post that offers a solution to their problem, okay? So that's the challenge. They type in their problem and up comes your blog post that offers a solution to their problem. So you want their words to match your words, essentially, okay? So for instance, let me give you an example. So do say hello if you're joining me. Say hello and let me know where you're from and if you've got any questions about blogging, and I will close. Okay, so an example here is, you know, perhaps somebody types in Google how to do yoga at home, okay? And then you may have created a blog post that's 5 ways to start a home yoga practice today. Okay, so you'll see what I mean there by their words matching your words. And, you know, a keyword is a word or a phrase that someone types into a search engine like Google to look for something online. So, you know, we all use Google every single day. You generally you generally go onto Google and you will write a sentence rather than a word, okay? And I'll come on to that in a minute. But, you know, the search that you use will bring up the content that you're looking for. And your goal is to figure out what your ideal student is typing into Google so that you can use those exact keywords in your blog post and on your website. Okay, so this helps to ensure that your blog posts come up when these keywords are typed or used in the search box. Okay, so if you're not using the keywords that people are searching, that your ideal students are searching, how are they going to find you online? Well, quite simply, they won't find you. Okay, you need to be using the types of phrases and words that your target ideal students are searching for. Okay, and if you're not sure about who your ideal student is, then there is another live training that I did a few weeks ago on how to find your yoga teaching sweet spot. So go ahead and watch that. But it's really, really important, really key that you know who you're writing for, okay? That you know who your ideal student is, what their problems are, and how you can solve their problems through the blog post that you're creating. Okay, so hopefully that's so let me just talk a little bit more about keywords. And there's 2 things that I want to talk about. So there's short tail keywords and long tail keywords. So I won't go any more technical than that today, but basically short tail keywords are things like a one word, like yoga. Okay, so yoga is a short tail keyword. So really, you know, that is too simplistic, it's too general. If you type yoga into Google, there are going to be millions of results that come up. Okay, so there's so much competition for that one word. Okay, and you know, realistically, how many people are just going into Google and typing in yoga? So you know, what you want to be looking at are long tail keywords, and these are phrases. They're more specific, there's less competition, so it's much more likely that you'll show up in the search results. And you know, a long tail keyword could be something like getting started with yoga, how to get started with yoga, yoga for pregnancy in the 3rd trimester, you know, all of these types of things that are very specific and related to your niche. So start to think about that. Start to think about, you know, what are the types of things that your ideal students, if you teach, you know, pregnancy yoga, what are all the questions that people ask you in class? You know, what are maybe messages that you get on social media or via email? What are the questions that you get from your existing students? You can use that. You can use that information. It's research to help you to craft articles that you'll write about on your blog. Okay, so I'm going to share with you, before I finish up today, I'm going to share with you a really easy way to research and, you know, find out what your ideal students are typing in Google. And one of these ways is Google's predictive text search facility. Okay, so you will have used this yourself. Okay, you will have come across this yourself. So as you start typing something in Google, have you ever noticed that as you're typing, words are coming up already? It's almost like it's predicting what it is that you are typing into Google. Okay, so let me know if you've noticed that previously. I'm sure you will have. So that is Google's predictive text search facility, and you can actually use this to come up with some ideas for blog posts to create. Okay, so I'll go back to the pregnancy one, but you know, if you're writing pregnancy, how to, and just see what comes up. Excuse me, see what comes up in the results underneath. See what Google is predicting that you're going to write, because actually those predictions are based on what people have been searching in Google. Okay, so it's really useful. So the things that you see at the top are the types of searches that are most popular. Okay, so it's a really good way to kind of come up with some ideas and to just do a little bit of research around that. Okay, and you know, just go ahead and type some things in and see what comes up. Do a little bit of research there, and then once you've got your keywords and you've got some ideas of some phrases that your ideal students are using, you'll want to create your blog post based on that. And then you need to make sure that you're using those keywords in lots of different places. So I'm just going to run through that with you now. Okay, so actually, if you're using WordPress, then WordPress makes this really easy for you. Okay, so there's a plugin that you can use called Yoast SEO, and once you've switched on that plugin, it will take you through a traffic light system, and it gives you guidance as to how, or in the areas that you can improve your blog post's SEO. Okay, so for instance, it will say to you, you know, are you using keywords in the blog post URL? Okay, so it could be something like, okay, so yeah, so it's Yoast SEO, Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T, SEO, and that's a plugin. It's free to use. I use it all the time. Every time I create a blog post, I use the plugin. And yeah, like I said, it gives you red, amber, green, so you can see where you need to make the improvements to improve the SEO on your page. And, you know, it will make suggestions to you. So things like having the URL having the keywords in the URL. So if it's like something like, let's say www.yogawithange.com/yoga poses for pregnancy, okay? And then obviously having the keywords in the blog posts, so in the blog post title, okay? And, you know, I really recommend that you use titles like how to, or perhaps a list. So 5 ways to are really good ways to, or really good titles to attract people to go and read your blog posts. And then also using the keywords in your headlines within the post. So again, if you're, you know, creating content on websites, you'll be familiar with H1 headings, H2, H3. So making sure you use those keywords in those headings as well. Also the first few sentences within the post content, and ensuring that you've used the keywords enough times in the actual post itself, okay? So you want to go for about 2% of your post content overall, using those keywords. And then one that's often forgotten, if you're using images in your post, which you should be, actually saving those images using the keywords, okay? So calling the images by those keywords as well is really important, okay? So that's covered quite a lot today, and as I said, I was focusing today on how you can use your blog to boost your traffic to your website. And by that, you know, using the keywords, using the SEO, and, you know, making Google happy, and hopefully that's given you a little taster of what that's all about. If you would like more information around SEO, okay, so if this has kind of whetted your appetite a bit and you'd like a little bit more information, then do let me know, and I will create a maybe a blog post around it, or come back in here and do a Facebook Live on SEO if it's something that you'd like to learn more about. I don't see any questions for me right now, so probably going to leave it there today. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, I think we're all good. So obviously the live on Instagram will be live for 24 hours, and the live on Facebook will be live forever. So it will be saved here on the Facebook page, Digital Yoga Academy Facebook page. So if you want to come and check back in and just maybe listen again and go through anything that I shared with you today, if you have any questions on anything that's come up today, then just pop those questions in the comments on the Facebook page under the video, and I will come back into the page and I will answer those questions for you. But other than that, over and out, and I will chat with you all very, very, very soon. And then I will be back here next Tuesday, and at the earlier time, 11 AM, back to 11 AM next Tuesday, London time. And I hope to see you all very, very soon. Have a beautiful day, guys. Take care.